Hi, Vincent. I remember you.
You remember me from where?
From the last time we were at a party together.
Did you come down to the club?
No, it was a wedding. You know, you haven't kissed me hello yet. Relatives always kiss.
Oh, no, we're related.
I'm your little cousin.
Sofia Coppola first entered the realm of film discourse when she was unfairly panned for her performance as Mary Corleone in The Godfather Part III. It wasn't an amazing performance or anything. Her woodenness kinda ruins some of the film's most crucial scenes. But she was only 18 when she shot the movie, and she hadn't asked for the role. She only did it as a favour to her dad when Winona Ryder dropped out. Critics lambasted Coppola's acting like it was bloodsport, but she showed them. 9 years later, those very same critics would laud Coppola for her abilities as a writer-director when her debut feature The Virgin Suicides premiered at Cannes. In the years that followed, Coppola became every bit the renowned filmmaker her father is. Along with Jane Campion and Catherine Bigelow, Coppola helped blaze the trail for female directors in Hollywood. Over the course of her storied career, Coppola has helmed some true masterpieces like Lost in Translation and Priscilla, but her filmography also has some less than stellar entries like the vacuous The Bling Ring or the boring The Beguiled.
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to.
Since she comes from a Hollywood dynasty and grew up in wealth and luxury, Coppola's films are often criticized for reflecting a privileged, sheltered view of the world. And that's never been more apparent than in The Bling Ring. It's about a group of vain, celebrity-worshipping teenagers who rob the homes of famous people. And the film is just as shallow and vapid as the characters. The Bling Ring indulges their superficial lifestyle rather than critiquing it. There was the potential for a great satire in this real-life story, but The Bling Ring ain't it. I was really excited for Coppola's take on The Beguiled. I love the Don Siegel original, but I was intrigued to see Coppola tell the story more from the female perspective, sort of like how the Coen brothers retold True Grit from Matty's perspective. And I love all the actors involved, it has an impeccable cast. But when I watched Coppola's Beguiled redo, I was bitterly disappointed. It's not a terrible movie, it's well shot and well acted, and it brings some additional depth to the story, but I just found it interminably boring. The Beguiled is a really tense, intriguing mystery, but Coppola flattens all the tension.
I'll come down and I'll get along with you.
Somewhere is one of Coppola's slowest and most forgettable movies, but it's a lot more moving and introspective than The Beguiled. Before Elle Fanning shows up and steals the show, it's basically BoJack Horseman without the jokes or talking animals. At first, it's hard to care about the Stephen Dorff character because he's vain and self-centered and doesn't have many redeeming qualities. But he eventually grows on you as he re-evaluates his life and comes to terms with his unhappiness. Somewhere reminds me of Sean Baker's slice-of-life character dramas. It's a really interesting exploration of the absurd world of celebrity through the innocent eyes of a child, and Fanning gives a terrific performance in that role. Coppola's distinctive directorial voice arrived fully formed in her first feature, The Virgin Suicides. It established her style beautifully with a sobering, melancholic look into the lives of tortured young women. The Virgin Suicides has everything going for it. A moody visual style, an electronic dream pop soundtrack by Air, and amazing performances by the cast. Coppola would top it with some of her subsequent films, but it was a stellar debut.
And how do you bluff?
Poker face.
Poker face. Poker face. Poker face. Nice.
On the Rocks is Coppola's lightest movie. It's the closest she's come to emulating Nora Ephron or Nancy Myers. Rashida Jones and Bill Murray are a really endearing father-daughter duo. They have a great comic dynamic, but they don't shy away from the dramatic side of the relationship either. And you get genuinely swept up in the mystery of whether Jones's husband is having an affair. It doesn't hit quite as hard as Lost in Translation or Priscilla, but then it's not trying to be as heavy as those films. It touches on issues of trust and infidelity, but it's really just a delightful comedy.
Do you know what she said?
Let them eat cake.
That's such nonsense. I would never say that.
I really hate stuffy old hat costume dramas, and I have a real soft spot for period pieces that have more of a modern clip and a modern sensibility and a sense of humour, like The Favourite or Greta Gerwig's Little Women, and I think Marie Antoinette was one of the forerunners in that specific subgenre. Marie Antoinette became the queen consort of France as a teenager, so it was a really novel approach for Coppola to chronicle her life as a teen comedy. The production design is just as meticulous and immersive as a standard royal drama, but Coppola frames the arranged marriages and the uprisings as if they're the adolescent antics of Clueless or Mean Girls. It covers all the key events of her reign, but with a light satirical touch, and it has an anachronistic soundtrack full of contemporary post-punk and new wave songs. Marie Antoinette is The Crown meets 10 Things I Hate About You, and I love it.
I want a life of my own.
Sofia Coppola and the life of Priscilla Presley are the absolute perfect pairing of filmmaker and subject matter. Coppola is known for chronicling the lives of lonely women and breaking down the facade of glamour and privilege to show the misery hiding underneath, and Priscilla is the epitome of that. Kaylee Spaney does an incredible job of playing Priscilla as this sweet, naive kid thrust into a very adult world, and Jacob Elordi does an incredible job of playing the offstage Elvis as a deeply complex figure, whose manipulative manager and worsening drug addiction turn him into a monster. Together, they have both the infectious on-screen chemistry to capture Elvis and Priscilla falling in love, and the powerful dramatic chops to capture them falling out of love. Coppola deftly balances the hypnotic highs and depressing lows of this emotional rollercoaster of a relationship for a nuanced, balanced portrait of a fraught romance. Priscilla has what I consider to be Coppola's greatest ending, and one of the greatest endings of a film I've ever seen. The braying fans standing outside the gates of Graceland, fantasizing about what might lie within its walls, are contrasted with Priscilla leaving behind what turned out to be a very bleak reality. All this is paired perfectly with Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You for a suitably bittersweet conclusion to this troubled love story.
Welcome to New Tokyo International Airport, Narita.
Lost in Translation is essentially just an hour and a half of Scarlett Johansson and Bill Murray hanging out in Tokyo, but that's the beauty of it. The two actors share really endearing chemistry that makes them endlessly watchable, and Coppola shoots the city with these beautiful muted tones and handheld angles that make you feel like you're there, experiencing the same culture shock they are. Lost in Translation hits me on a really personal level, because I'm a pretty lonely person, and this film makes me feel less lonely. These two lost souls come together, share their depression, and enrich each other's lives. Sofia Coppola has made some really great movies, but Lost in Translation is her masterpiece. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe and click on the little bell. And also seize the day and call your mom and be kind to yourself.